Hey, this is Doug Paget, and I'm here with Bruce Reyes-Chow. Bruce is actually in San Francisco. I'm in Minneapolis, and Bruce is going to be one of the contributors to the conversation going at the Church Planters Academy in Minneapolis, May 3 through 5 of 2012. So come and join us. Bruce is a part of Mission Bay Community Church in San Francisco and was one of the originators of that community. And Bruce, how did that get started?
Well, I'm one of those that never really saw myself as a church planter. I come out of a mainline Presbyterian generic church
Uh-huh.
experience and came to this through really crashing and burning in my first call. I
Hmm.
was at a church that was one of those that was an older congregation. They hoped that by calling a young pastor with a young family,
Hmm.
that they would get young.
Yeah.
And well, that happens all the time. The worst thing happened in the world, right? We started there with about, I don't know, 40 people in worship or so. And we actually did grow, and we grew to roughly
Hmm.
about 125 or so in a couple of years, mostly young professionals, kind of the folks that they really wanted. The danger was then that folks really fell into this trap of, well, we want you here, but we didn't really want you fully here.
Hmm.
And so I was 26 when I got out of seminary. Not that age is all about competency, but I was not equipped for the power dynamics that were going to happen when you
Oh,
bring
how about
in
that?
a significant change. So I crashed and burned out of that congregation. But what I did learn was that I had a heart and some gifts for talking about faith and what it meant to be a Christian in San Francisco,
Hmm.
a very spiritual city, but a really anti-religious city. And to have young people and young adults kind of say, yeah, I can be a Christian in the middle of this place that doesn't really look upon that well.
Uh-huh.
So the area of churches, the Presbyterian churches, asked if I would try to put together a congregation targeting that group, and so I did that.
Hmm.
That's about 13 years ago now. We started that journey. So I came to it not because I had this real heart for church growth, but I came to it because I had a heart for a generation and a people in San Francisco. That was kind of how we started it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I also come out of a very healthy mainline experience. So I'm one of those that emerging from a different place than I think a lot of folks have emerged
Yeah.
from out of some other places.
And in fact, the last couple of years of your life have led you into serving within that mainline denominational system in a different way, while still being a church starter at heart.
Yeah,
You interacted with the system in a different way, huh?
yeah. I mean, I'm a reluctant or accidental bureaucrat, but at the same time, I love the institution, and I think that there's something about structure that is healthy or can be healthy. And I'm just as frustrated with denominationalism as many other people are, but I also love who we, as Presbyterians in particular, kind of the flavor with which we operate in the
Mm.
world. And I think that as whatever falls out denominationally, how people claim that and live that out is
Yeah.
going to be what gives the whole body its wonder. So yeah, I've played in all kinds of levels of the church.
Yeah. And now after
Yeah.
these 13 years, your role at Mission Bay Community Church has changed. Is that the case?
Well, yeah, that is the case. I left. So yeah, I think one of the things for church planters is how do you know when it's time to go? And I
Mm-hmm.
think I've talked to a lot of my friends who planted churches, and many of them said that often the pastor stays a few years too long,
Mm-hmm.
and a church will never decide that it's time
Right.
unless it gets really bad.
Yeah.
And that's not the legacy you're trying to build. That's not the community you're trying to build.
Mm-hmm.
And so I chose to leave at a time where we are financially pretty set, and if things were at a good place. And I didn't go to anything. I really made it
Mm-hmm.
about call and not about job and about the next step, but it was about what is the call between its pastor and a congregation, and how do we honor that as they think about what's next for them. I also felt like there's so much personality of the founding pastor wrapped up in the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
congregation that you have to figure out at what point do you need to step away to have the congregation embody itself and not the pastor. So yeah, that transition happened for me about six
Mm-hmm.
months ago, and I've
Yeah.
joined the ranks of you consultant types and am now trying to figure out how to pay the bills doing that. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, this is Bruce Reyes-Chow. He's in San Francisco, but he's going to be joining us in May the 3rd through the 5th of 2012 at the Church Planters Academy in Minneapolis. So, Bruce, thanks a lot for being part of the event, and thanks for letting us know what's going on.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, we'll see you all
Right.
May 3rd through the 5th in Minneapolis.